We're back with the Celica, and this time I want to do the subwoofer. As you can see, we've got our other friends here in the back. The black Supra, that engine there still hasn't been touched after last episode, so we still got a bit to finish on that. This one, however, we've bought this cheap eBay kit, which has our RCA cables. We've got a power wire, which is a little bit thinner than I'm used to seeing for this stuff. Earth wire, a couple of clamps, cable ties, and we've got our little fuse. The idea is for this to run power from the battery into the fuse, and the fuse, we run it through the side of the car or the middle of the car, whichever works, and plug into the amplifier at the back. That's so if there is a short or anything, it just pops this fuse and then power stops going through. Our remote wire, so this is so when we turn the ignition on, it actually powers up the amplifier, and we have cables for the speakers themselves. That is it for our little bag of goodies, so let's get into installing the subwoofer. First thing we're going to do, disconnect the battery. Should just be as simple as a 10mm. Don't go the wrong way. Battery off, and that way we don't have any sparks going on when we start routing wires through the body. After we're done with the battery, we're going to need to find a place to route this blue wire. I'm thinking at this point our target is going to be in this grommet right here. I've tried to feed it through, but it gets stuck. I need to get around it somehow. We're going to go in the cabin after feeding a little bit of this. Let's see where it ended up. I couldn't find it under here. I opened the glove box and I've looked behind here where the blower motor is. I cannot for the life of me find where that goes. While it does appear to come out here, the blower motor completely seals this side, and I've tried to reach around. I can't feel anything. Just like before when we did the thing, and we're gonna have to do this anyway. I'm going to be taking out this center section. Might be able to see where that cable has come through from this side. Aww. This doesn't look so much better. Oh, we broke that for nothing. Unless we can see it from behind here. Let's see if I can get it from here. Maybe at this point I should be giving up on that particular grommet, but I'm not going to because I'm stubborn. I'm actually going to loosen the dash now. And the reason I can't open the door is because it's hard up against the wall. I'm working with limited space at the moment. I might be able to move it a bit and see something from above. Okay, I have lost a bit of patience. I have ripped everything from the inside, including the glove box, and I could not see where that wire was going. So I've ripped out the grommet entirely here just to prove that light is coming through. So now we can see into the passenger floor. I'm going to feed the wire through a tear here, and then I'm going to push this back in and we will see it. Hopefully. As you can see now, it's gone through one side, gone through the other side, and we're pushing that into... Ouch, I've cut my fingers so many times. I am really over it. And what was after possibly one of the most annoying installs, there's the wire. I'm going to feed the rest through and I'll come back. We'll basically get this underneath a few things here. I'm going to route it under here, under the back seats, through to the boot. I just tried the middle and that pissed me off because going through the middle required removing a lot of stuff to get that center console out. Now the easier way I think is actually just going directly behind the carpet here. We can just run it down the side of it. This will be very easy, I hope. This under here needs to just hook over again. So we've gone through here behind this plastic trim, and there's a tiny bit exposed. We're running that along the side of this chair, behind this belt, and into the boot through the fold in the chair. For reference, this is the back of the seat. We're going to go to the sub from there. Forgive me, but here is my old amp and sub. It does look broken. Yes, there was a piece that was covered here and it's heat damage from being in the sun because I've had this a very long time. This was in my first Celica. It was in my Supra, and now it's in this Celica. We've got 12 volt, remote, and ground. These three here, not sure if you can see. This is going to be our power wire. This will be the remote that connects to accessories so that it actually turns the amp on when the car's on, and this is the ground. So the ground's just going to ground to a bolt anywhere on the body. This is going to go to our power wire, which is going to be fused to the battery. This is going to come from the back of the head unit. Now that we have our power wire here, I'm going to have to route the remote wire, the RCA cables, and the speaker wires. Okay, so a little bit of a fast forward. We've got our skinny blue cable there. That is the remote wire. We've got the RCA cables, which are right there, the red and black. They are running through the side of the seat here, as the other wires are. See, we've got the blue remote wire running there. We're running the RCA cable through the middle of the center console to the back. that is going here. So this is where the blue wires are running. Up there, routed around, that's going to be tucked away properly. And back to the back of the head deck, there's our remote wire sticking out here. RCA cables out here, which are going to go behind the head deck as well. As I said earlier, we've got 12 volt remote and ground. We're going to be running this as our 12 volt. We unscrew this and that lifts up this little plate. See if I screw it in, that locks it down. That lifts it up. That's how we're going to lock it in. Same as the ground and same as the remote. You can do this in many ways. Use a blade. And this will give us this. Easy way to kind of do what we're doing is create a fork, turn these around. This is going to go in here. We're going to screw this down. This we can lift the whole amp with. That's how tight that is. There's no exposed wire, because if you have stuff sticking out here like fraying or anything, you could accidentally touch one of the others. It's more a concern with any form of power touching the earth. These two are quite separate and this wire is quite skinny, so there's not really much of a chance of them touching, but sometimes you have seen stuff where there's a whole bunch of fraying sticking out, and if it touches the red at all, it will spark and blow a fuse, hopefully. I've done the exact same for the earth wire, and now the remote wire is getting the same treatment. Don't need to split this in two though. This can just go straight in because it's really skinny. It will just sit like that, lock in. So all three are done, except the earth is not connected yet and the power is not connected yet either. We're just going to put them here. Next we've got our RCA cables. Now these on the other side of the amplifier go to two spots here. Different controls. For this one we're going to be using these two because this is rear, and the reason I'm doing this is because we're just treating this as one big rear speaker and that's the only side we need. And if it isn't self-explanatory enough, red goes with red. From inside the car, if you mount it anywhere to the bodywork, this earth will work. And I'm going to bolt it to this seat base bolt here, which bolts directly to the chassis and is an earth, where there's no stress at all on it, even with the seat up. I've actually just put it behind the bracket. It's squashed up against the middle of the body, so it should be grounded correctly. We'll find out when we try and power it up. We've got our earth, our remote plugged in, and we've got our power wire. We have also got the two RCA cables plugged in. Time to go to the front. Not sure if you remember all this mess from when we actually put the head unit in. Typically, the accessory wire is the red one, with the yellow one being the constant, black one is the earth, and then you've got various speaker wires for everything else. But the main thing is we're going to need to tap into this red one with our remote wire, and that will turn on the power to the amplifier out the back once the ignition is on. We've just tapped into our accessory wire. Back to the battery side of life, we have our fuse here. Not sure if you can see that clearly enough. There is a fuse inside there. You basically unscrew this side, unscrew that side, and we'll be feeding the wire through here, locking it in with this Allen key. Not sure if that's going to focus, but anyway, with that Allen key. So we're going to, oh well, still good, still good. But before that, this kit came with these connectors, so we have to feed the wire through this, and that way we're going to be able to lock it onto the top of the battery here underneath this nut. And that will have the first part of the wire before we cut it, put the fuse in line, and then reconnect it. Yes, before you cry, I soldered it. This is now all soldered in properly all the way through. I'm going to be mounting this here, and I'm going to have the fuse start about here, so it'll actually just sit underneath and it won't really be visible. We'll chop it and we'll add it in line now. That's leaving us with this. We're going to cut this bit off. So what you have is your fuse, your wire now that's chopped, and we can see this here. Just make that all nice and tight. We're going to actually put it through this. So first of all, we have to loosen this, feed the wire through the front, and there is a rubber seal goes around the wire first, fits nice and snug there. So we're going to have this sit in there, make sure this is nice and snug, get that in there, push that in with our Allen key. Now, it doesn't have to be super tight, just tight enough. We just round that back up, press that on, tighten, and we're good to do the other side now in the exact same way. So on the back of this also, we do have to put in the RCA cables. Now there's RCA cables here. We fed the white and the black into the back there that said rear. Now here, same kind of thing, we've got sub, which is this line here. So this is rear, this is front, but we're only using these two here. That's going to send the signal to the back, and we're going to have some beautiful sounds coming out of that. Again, we've just simply put the black wire into the white spot,
and we put the red one here.
The last thing that we need to do is now run the speaker wire that came in the kit. It's going to be used here where it's called speaker connection. We're going to, I believe it's called bridge this positive and this negative, and that's going to give us our speaker connection. And they are going to be routed underneath this box. We've got our connectors here for our speaker wires, and that is connected to the sub. I'll explain how that works when it's all together. But from that huge roll of speaker wire, I've cut a little bit and I have split the ends. That's because the only thing these have to do is go into these two ports here where we're going to bridge that, and we're going to put them into, like I said, these two plugs here. And now I'm just going to chop off the ends of this, screw it into there as I did for the others. Then I'm going to put it into these holes. I'll probably show you better this way. There are holes here. You press the wire in, puts it up, it locks in. Happy days. So moment of truth, I've now reconnected the battery. The fuse is in line, so we're ready to go with the fuse. Now in the door, as you saw before, all the way here runs the cabling. So we've got our RCA cables done, we've got our power wire, our remote wire, and our speaker wires go from in here into these two ports. Now inside there was a wire connected from the inside of that to the subwoofer itself. So let's turn this on. Okay, ignition is on, and we connect. We'll get the Bluetooth going. So now the choice, what song do we play as the first song? Without being copyrighted, I think we can play a few seconds of this. So it works. Now we are going to put this interior back together. A quick rundown of what happened. So we have a power wire that has a fuse, an earth wire, a remote wire, which hooks up to the accessories. And that means when you turn the accessories on, you can power the amp, but it turns off when the key is off. You've also got your RCA cables that go from the back of the head unit into the amplifier. And you have speaker wires that go from the amplifier to the speaker that you're powering. In this case, it is just the sub. It's really as simple as that. Once you connect the power wire to your battery and to the back, that's it. See you on the next one.